This is a Pickled Punks podcast. Enjoy. Fuzzy trace memories.
Fuzzy traces. Yep.
Fuzzy trace memories.
Tim brought it up.
Tim brought it up, and his psychiatrist told him about it. So my understanding of this, without taking length of time to really dive into it, is that it contrasts the difference between just memories, meaning I get the gist, I get the main understanding and the overall understanding of the concept, and verbatim memories, which is the exact understanding of a specific concept. And how both of these events are captured in the same section of the mind, and that the just memories are not recorded accurately over time. They degrade and I guess, corrode faster than just memories. And so when someone talks about false memories, it's basically around the concept that the verbatim memories have been clumped into a just memory, which may not fully reflect the verbatim memory.
I don't understand a word you just said.
So how would you describe a just memory?
What do you say?
The gist. The gist.
A gist?
Gist. Sorry. Gist. Gist.
I thought you were saying
Well,
just.
I don't know if I could describe a just memory, but the concept
you saying
of
gist or just?
You're saying just.
Just. Sorry if I was
describing
saying
it as
just.
is a furry memory, a fuzzy memory, a stringy memory. What was the name of it?
Okay, let me start over. Okay.
No. Just the
Define a
word.
just memory.
I can't just find a just memory.
No.
Gist.
Just. Okay.
Just.
I give you a whole list of information, and I say, "What's the gist? Give me your
okay,
summary."
So that would be the furry memory.
No. So okay, maybe
So here's my thought on it. Here's my thought on it. Okay. So
go ahead.
I would think that form of memory they were talking about in the movie where that he was saying that the sister was using.
Well, hold on. Before you go on, and the reason why I'm stopping you is because you're using the movie to define the understanding of fuzzy trace memories, which I think
fuzzy
is the
memories.
secondary.
That wasn't a furry memory.
Fuzzy memory.
Fuzzy memory
And that's the secondary use of a primary concept,
Gotcha.
which may be used inaccurately. So I wouldn't want to use that as the reasons. So what's a gist memory? What's the gist of this? So let's say, for instance,
I don't know where the fuck you're going with this.
So I describe a very lengthy concept and I say, what's the gist? What's the summary or your understanding of this in one sentence? Today
there
we
are
did a
some
podcast.
memories that are solid and there's some memories that are just the broad strokes.
Just the broad strokes.
I wouldn't say solid. I would say the difference between verbatim information and the gist. So you can have an event or I can read a page.
Okay,
I can read a page of text. Let me finish this real quick.
No. I'm ready to explain.
I can read a page
so a verbatim memory would be a 1-for-1 correlation between what you remember and what actually existed.
Right.
A just memory would be a broad strokes outline of what had happened, not necessarily a lot of the gist.
Gist. Yes.
Would be a broad strokes outline of what had happened, but not necessarily any of the details that had happened.
Right.
That could then later be influenced by other memories.
I wouldn't even necessarily say it's, I guess it can be. So now you have the understanding that gist and verbatim memories, verbatim degrades very quickly, gist doesn't. Now bury it under 10 years of time, and now the verbatim, the actual facts of the event have degraded and have sort of attached themselves to this gist of the event, and the gist may be completely inaccurate or even slightly inaccurate of what actually happened.
Maybe it's just a little bit inaccurate.
Brian?
Where? As far as I know, I don't know a lot about, if you have a special expertise given your background and your education. But as far as I know, if I think of doing podcasts with you guys, if I think of it tomorrow.
So sheer horror. Continue.
If I think of it tomorrow, I'll have a pretty accurate memory of what happened. But if I think of doing podcasts with you guys, after a long period of time, my memories will sort of be an amalgamation of all the different podcasts we've done together. I won't remember that you're sitting here with your shirt unbuttoned. I think that research has supported this. Every time you remember something, you're actually, every time you access it, you're actually changing it. So if I remember, something from childhood, the act of recall includes a reformulation of it based on all my life experiences up to today. So you can't have a verbatim, to use your word, recording of the past events. It's always a new recreation based on where you are today.
And part of the reason why that is that once you pull it back out of long-term memory, you start attaching it to short-term memories or current memories, and it basically tarnishes it, so it's not even an accurate recollection because you're adding additional memories to it. So, I mean, basically the reason why I don't know why it's called fuzzy trace memories, but the idea is just so much that verbatim memory and just memories are kind of recorded in the same fashion, but verbatim degrades and just, sort of reforms, but is much more accessible on a continual basis.
I think the interesting point is that we can't be seduced into thinking that we have a videotape-like recording of past events. Our memory is not objectively true. It is a recreation based on everything we've experienced after that event. So there's things in the movie like her setting up the elaborate recording systems and the mirror itself being a reflection of reality. Memory is not an accurate reflection of reality. It's a construction based on everything up to today included. I think that's the neat idea, is that we need to be separated from that assumption that we have a videotape-like recording of the past sitting in our brains.
That is true. And also another variable to consider is that our brains are being bombarded with a significant amount of data all at the same time. So it is in itself filtering out things that are important, things that it thinks is important, things that it thinks it isn't important. And again, sort of like balling it up into what's conceptually happening. Because if all you were doing was recording and understanding every piece of detail in a sense that doesn't have understanding to it, then it would be almost maddening, the amount of information you'd have to sort of parse through in your prefrontal lobe.
I've seen comments about eyewitness testimony that ties into that, where they're saying that eyewitness testimony that's taken at the time that something occurs is accurate, but once you're taking eyewitness testimony after the fact, then the further it is from the fact, the less accurate the eyewitness testimony is, because of the fact that it's not a verbatim recording. I would also think that the fuzzy, furry, frolicking memories would be somehow tied into the deja vu concept, where you have a fuzzy memory of a general event, and then you witness something that has enough correlation between your fuzzy memory and the actual event to where it says, oh, wait, yeah, I actually have done this already, when you truly haven't.
Nice call out.
On the same line, and this will be my last comment on the furry memories.
Fuzzy.
I've seen reports where it is some people's opinion that when you're dreaming, you don't actually remember your dreams until you see something that influences you into thinking you remember your dreams. That your dreams are more of a mishmash of random images, that then when you see something that has enough correlation between what you actually dreamed, which was bizarre, to reality, then it says, oh yeah, that was my dream. I dreamed about something or other, but it isn't really what your brain was experiencing during the dream.
Saying so you can't even conceptualize your dream other than in images?
Or based on current cues?
It's not so much as like in the process of dreaming, your dream is one thing, which is just a bunch of random stimulus. And then when you awake and you start experiencing real stimulus, your mind uses what you're actually seeing to tie the unorganized thoughts that you had while you were sleeping into a cohesive narrative, when now you're like, well, that's what I dreamt about, when in fact you dreamt about just random sporadic firings of your neurons.
Is that why all my dreams are about morning wood?
Well, all my dreams are about sex, and I really don't have that much sex in the real life, so I think that's pretty, I can debunk that right now.
Dream.
Dream, 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 dream.